Hi guys, this is Legend by the Score. It's a great riff split into 4 parts. The first part, you start with a bass E string at the top, and then you're going to have your first finger on fret 2 of the 3rd string down. So that is E, A, D, the D string. So there we go, in the right hand side, so we don't want the finger over here or in the middle, we want it just before the metal marker that leads into fret 3, but we're in fret 2. So first of all, we play our E in the bass, so I just call that a bass for now, bass. We're going to make our way down to the D string, and we're going to play fret 2, then 0, so we take our finger off, then back on, and then back off. There's 4 notes there. Just keep an eye on this finger here. This one stays on the D string, 2, O, 2, O. So we have our bass up first, and then we have this kind of movement which sounds like bouncy, bouncy. So I'm going to say bass, bouncy, bouncy. Okay, it's not just like this. That's quite straight. It's going to be... So the 2s last a tad longer than the 0s. From the top, bass, bouncy, bouncy. Did you see where I went with my first finger? I've gone up a string, so that means we have to change string with our picking hand as well to match that up. So on the A string on both hands. Here we go, bass. Let's start again. You can start with your first finger already on this fret 2, but remember it's not our first note. Our first note is the bass first, then bouncy, bouncy, then change. Here we go. Bass, bouncy, bouncy, change. That's our first little bit. Here we go. Okay, with our right hand, the advanced way would be to go down and then down, up, down, up, down. So they're the picking directions. Down, down, up, down, up, down. Okay, next note is called the secret note. And that's because it's the one that everyone forgets, so I have to name it so it sounds different. We're going to go bass, down, up, down, up, down. There it is, it's the D string, a 0, an open D string on its own, just like that. You take your finger off of the last note as well, just so it can ring out from the start. I'm going to use all down strokes this time. That's something else you can do. Bass. Okay, there's that open secret note, the D string below. Just remember, the first time you change your finger up a string, the next note, you take your finger off and it's just the string below the one you've just played. Here we go. Bass, bouncy, bouncy, change, secret note. After the secret note, you go back on to where you were before. So you go back onto the A string. Here we go. Bass, bouncy, bouncy, change, secret note, back on, off. Okay, so I've added an extra note there as well. So we're just going back onto the A string. We play fret 2, then a 0. Now that's important because it's on the same string. We haven't changed here. It's just 2 notes on the same string, one with your finger on, one with your finger off. Let's try and put that all together nice and slowly. Okay, one more time. Just have a good look at what's going on. Maybe the first time you can look at this hand, and the second time you can look at this hand. I'll play it twice. Second time. Last note, can you see I've changed my middle finger? I've gone right to the top, fret number 3 on the bass E string. That's our last note of riff number 1. So now I'm going to play the whole thing through. This is the first part. That last note there, the 0, will be your first note again, the start of the second pattern. Okay, so let's go one more time. I'm going to say the kind of frets and the notes now. So we have bass, 2, O, 2, O, 2, 0 below, back on, 2, O, 3. And Then we can do a slight bend there if you want. That's something to practice. You see I'm doing a very tiny bend on the downstroke. And it gets about there. And I'm using my middle finger for this fret as well. That's really important that we don't use the first finger again. First finger does everything in fret 2, middle finger in that fret 3 at the end. Part number 2 starts in exactly the same way, and we have to go up to our secret note. So we begin the same way. Here we go. The secret note. Okay, so once we've played that, we're going to stay on the same string. We've just played the secret note, that's on the D string, the open D. We're then going to stay on that string and find our way to fret number 5. This is the fun part, this is the slide. We're going to hold fret number 5 down in the right hand side with our first finger, and we're going to pluck that D string once. Then we're going to move our finger across the string into fret number 7, and we're going to hold down the string the whole way. Okay, if you let go, the slide will stop. So here we go. Okay, it's a fast slide. That means you play the note and immediately move your finger across that string into fret 7. Use your, you might have, I've got slashes here, I've got dots on the top. If you use your dots, you're going from dot to dot. And then as soon as you get to fret 7, you're going to come back to fret 5. Now you don't slide it back, you only slide from 5 to 7. You're just going to hop that one back to fret 5. And you can give it a bit of a wobble. Posh word for that, vibrato. Just going to hold the note down the whole time. You play it first, and you kind of do this with your finger. You kind of grip it up and down, and you try and go as fast as you can, but you don't want to go like too. You don't want to bend it too much, like, because that's a bend. This is called wobble or vibrato. Whole of part 2. Secret note. There's our slide at the end. Okay, so part 3, nice and easy. Part 3 is exactly the same as part 1. Part 1 and part 3 are the same. So you just go back to what would be the start riff. You're not back at the start, but it's the same as riff 1. Okay, so I'm going to play the 3 parts all together so you can see what you should have so far. Part number 4. Okay, part number 4 starts in the same way. All these riffs start the same way. But there's one note you have to remember where it does change afterwards. Here it is. Okay, so this time there's no secret note. It's the note before. So I always think this is the first time I've moved my finger up a string. That note, something's going to happen to that note. I'll show you what. We play it again, so it's kind of 2 times in a row with a bit of a pause in between the 2. Bass 2-0-2-0-2, stay there, 2-0. So we've stayed on the string, we played it once, a little pause, then we're going to play it again, 2-0, and that happens like this. Okay, it's a quick rhythm. Here we go. So note there's a pause just before, and then it's quick. There's the first one, there's the second, and to a 0 after that. So, and the final 2 notes are 3 and then 2. So we're going to use 2 different fingers as we move from fret 3 to fret 2. Middle finger on fret 3, first finger on fret 2. It's the same rhythm as these guys. So the second note of the 2 that we play lasts longer. The first one's very quick to the second one. Here we go. 2-0, 3-2, boom. End on a 0 there. Got a bit too excited. Here it is all together. Have fun with this one. It's an awesome riff, a great song. Get stuck in your head all week. Here we go, one last time. Part number 1. Part number 2. secret note, slide, back with a wobble. Part number 3. It's the same as part 1. Part number 4. Play it again. 3, 2. Okay, cool. Have fun with that. Let me know how you get on, and maybe even upload your own video of you playing it. Take it easy.